Good morning and warm welcome to all the participants of this 21 days program. Ma'am, if you could go to the presentation and start the slideshow.
Okay.
At the bottom, there is PowerPoint. Start the slideshow. So participants, we have the pleasure of having Dr. Madhu Suman with us. Ma'am is Assistant Professor, Department of Animal Nutrition, was Palampur. And the topic she has chosen for deliberation today is nutritional management for profitable dairy farm. Now I invite Dr. Pragya for the formal introduction and some brief achievements of our esteemed guest. Dr. Pragya, you can start with the introduction.
Thank you, sir. So, welcome to our today's speaker as well as all the participants to this morning session. So, we have today Dr. Madhu Suman Samyar. She is speaking as assistant professor in Department of Animal Nutrition, DCGC and Veterinary Animal Sciences, University CSKHP, KV Palampur. And she is a veterinary graduate of the same university, Palampur, and won her master's and PhD from National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal. She also worked as veterinary officer in Himachal Pradesh government. Presently, she is working as assistant professor in this university. She is handling currently 6 research projects as PI as well as co-PI, and published 24 research papers, 3 book chapters, 42 popular article as well as technical article, 5 extension materials, and she has also guiding 3 postgraduate students. So we all welcome from the organizing team, Dr. Madhu, for her insight on nutritional management for profitable dairy farming. So over to you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Pragya, and good morning to all of you. Now I will start my presentation. As Dr. Pragya already told, my topic for today's presentation is nutritional management for profitable dairy farming. As we all know that feeding cost of dairy animal accounts for 60 to 70% of the recurring cost on the farm. Means for the nutrition, we are going to spend 60 to 70% of total production. So meanwhile, the quality and quantity of feed which we have selected to meet the requirement of different animal or different dairy animal that need to be in a proper way. And moreover, whenever we are going to formulate any ration from the cow to lactating animal to producing animal, we have to formulate least cost ration. If the ration is not least cost ration, then profitable dairy farming is not possible. So we have to take care about the feeding of animal, quality, quantity wise, as well as while formulating, we have to use some unconventional feed stuff also to minimize the cost of production. So in this presentation, I'm going to discuss how to feed the animals. So the profitable dairy farming is possible, and meanwhile we are able to achieve the maximum growth as well as productive and reproductive performance. So first of all, I am going to discuss about the calf nutrition. Now, we know that today's calf is tomorrow's dairy animal, so we have to take care utmost about the feeding schedule of the animal, and whatever the feed stuff we are using to the calf, they need to be quality wise best. So if the growth performance of the calf is best and the body weight gain is maximum, then the consumption can be reduced, which is important for any profitable dairy farming. So first of all, we will start with the colostrum feeding. We know that colostrum is most important for the dairy calves, and within half an hour of calving, we have to provide the calf because it's going to promote the immune system, and as well as it is important for intestinal maturation. The colostrum contains 4 to 5 times more protein, 10 to 15 times more vitamin A, and the quantity of colostrum need to be supplemented to the dairy calf is 10% of its body weight. Now we have to feed the whole milk as well as milk replacer to the calves until their rumen starts supplying energy and microbial protein sufficient for maintenance and growth. Now question is arising that if we are going to feed all whole milk to the calf, then the quantity of milk which left with the dairy farmer is less. So we have to switch to the milk replacer, because if we are going to feed only the whole milk, then it's going to be very costly affair. So we have to switch to the milk replacer to the calves. We can start in 2 weeks of age, but we have to see that the milk replacer should contain a minimum of 18 to 20% crude protein, 10 to 20% crude fat and 5% crude fiber. And it has been found that if calves were fed with the milk replacer, then the calf starter consumption is increased more than 33% when we compare to the calf who is only fed the whole milk. So means the consumption of calf starter is going to increase if we are going to switch to the calf to the milk replacer diet. If more calf starter consumption means the growth performance of the calf is going to improve. Now calf starter. The purpose of a calf starter is to helpful in transition of the calf from milk feeding to the dry feeding. And also it is helpful for the proper human development, body growth, and for the successful weaning of the calf. Need that we are going to supplement the calf at a 2 week of age, good quality calf starter ration. In the calf starter, we have to use quality protein meal, maize grain, wheat bran, bypass fat, vitamin, and other feed additive. And one important thing is that there is strict aflatoxin control diet, and no non-protein nitrogen feed need to be introduced in the calf. If calf starter contain a coated sodium butyrate, which is going helpful the papilla development and faster human development undergoes if the calf starter contain a coated sodium butyrate. If the faster human development or papilla growth is proper, means the overall the human microbial activity enhance, and overall the absorption of the volatile fatty acids going to increase. That's important for the calf performance, calf growth performance. Now in this picture, you can see the one calf is was fed with the traditional feeding, another calf was fed with the calf starter. You can see here that the well-developed human and papilla were properly developed when the calf were fed with the calf starter diet. Now in this table, we can see that up to 12th week of, up to 14th, 12th to 14th week of age, we have to feed the calves with milk and milk replacer, and we have to start the calf starter at a 2 week of age, and meanwhile we have to start the good quality hay, and these calf starter hay as well as green fodder going to increase gradually, and at the 26th of age, week of age, we have to increase the calf starter 1.4 kg per day, and the hay is 1.5 kg per day and 6 kg per day. Why I'm showing this table to you people, that if we are going to feed the calf properly, the calf average daily gain is going to enhance, and if average daily gain is going to enhance, then conception is going to reduce, as the body weight is important for the first artificial insemination of heifer. We have to take care about the feeding of animal, whether we are feeding the milk to the animal, whole milk to the animal, milk replacer, as well as good quality calf starter, as well as a good quality hay and good green fodder need to be added to the calves to enhance their growth performance, right? Now we will switch to the feeding of heifer. Heifer feeding is very much important for profitable dairy farming, as we assume that for the profitable dairy farming, the calving should be within 2 years for crossbreed cows and 3 years for indigenous cow and buffalo. And it is only possible when we are managing the nutrition of a heifer in a proper way. And heifer should attain 60% of their adult body weight at the time of their first artificial insemination. And at the time of calving, heifer should attain 85 to 90% of their mature weight, and it's only possible if we have a good feeding plan for the heifer. Some important aspect which need to be considered while we are feeding to the heifer. There is a need for high energy and protein for the growth performance of heifer. If the underfeeding causes stunted growth, delayed or suppressed estrus, even breeding is delayed, because if underfeeding is there, the heifer is not going to reach the adequate size, so breeding period is enhanced. And moreover, during the pregnancy period, the nutritional management need to be checked carefully, because animal is still growing and fetus is also growing. So we have to check care all the nutritional need, whether it's the protein as well as energy need of the animal. Low protein feeding during gestation going to affect the calf vigor, delayed uterine involution, and also going to increase interval to estrus and decrease conception rate following calving. As we want that the one calf in year, that only possible if we are feeding the animal from the calf stage to the heifer, is even in the growing, even in the pregnant animal, and in the lactating phase, how we are going to feed the animal is very much important. Now, in this table, you can see the quantity of concentrate which we have to feed for the growing heifer to attain the adequate body size. From the 27 to 60 week, you can see that the concentrate feed need to be included 1.5 kg per day, and from 108 week, we have to increase it to 2 kg per day. Likewise, hay quantity as well as grain fodder need to be increased. For the mineral mixture at 27 to 60 week, we have to include 25 gram per day, and 91 to 108 week, we have to increase 75 gram per day. Means for heifer, we have to supplement good quality mineral mixture. And moreover, if the animal is conceived, then we have to change or we have to adjust the concentrate as green fodder according to the body weight of the animal as well as their conception month of conception. The quantity of these concentrate green fodder can vary, which we have to manage according to their conception period as well as the body weight of heifer. But generally we have to follow or we have to give minimum amount of concentrate as shown in the table. Now, feeding of lactating and dry pregnant animal. Up to this slide, we know that if we are going to feed the calves properly, there's a proper colostrum as well as milk feeding that's going to enhance the rumen development. And when rumen development and when we are going to start the calf with the calf starter, that's going to enhance their growth performance, and that growth performance is very much necessary for the breeding age. If animal are unable to achieve that body weight, then the breeding age may be increased, which is not good for profitable dairy farming. Now, animal is conceived. Now, after conceived, and then after calving, we have to take care of.
I think there is network issue because in Himachal sometimes the network no is there. I may reconnect her. Just a minute. She's joining shortly. Voice is not audible. No, it's not coming. It's not coming actually.
Okay.
Now it's coming. Now it's coming. Share your
Presentation. Now presentation is visible.
No. It's not visible. Again, you have to share.
Okay.
You have to start from feeding of pregnant and lactating animals.
Ma'am, share your presentation. At the bottom of the screen, there is the fifth icon. Present now. Okay, it's coming. Okay, ma'am, go to the slideshow mode. Click on
Okay.
hide button. Click on hide button.
Okay, you are able to see the presentation
Yes,
now.
yes, yes,
Like
yes,
Now
ma'am.
it is okay. Everything is okay. Just
Okay, I have to start off feeding of lactating from there.
Yeah,
na?
Yeah. Continue.
Okay. Now I will start. Now, I already discussed about the feeding of calf, then heifer. Now we'll switch to the feeding of lactating and dry pregnant animal, right? Now, feeding of lactating animal is very much important, and we know the nutritional need of vary during different stages of production cycle of dairy animal. So, if we are able to plan properly the nutritional need of the dairy animal, then we are able to harness maximum milk yield. Then we are going to improve the reproductive performance of the animal, and also if the feeding is planned properly, then it's going to minimize the incidences of metabolic disorder, and also it's going to increase the longevity of lactation. Means if we are able to plan the feeding of the dairy animal and according to the production cycle of the dairy animal, then we are able to achieve maximum yield. Maximum yield means maximum profit a farmer can derive if the nutritional requirement they are able to settle or they fulfill the nutritional need of the dairy animal. Now, first of all, I will start with the early lactation. Up to 3-month period after calving is called early lactation period, and the genetic potential of the animal is fully expressed during this period. And animals under pressure to produce a large amount of milk during this period, and in this period animal going to produce according to their genetic potential. Now, how we are going to exploit that genetic potential of the animal? We have to feed high quality refuges, green mix of legume as well as non-legume fodder crops, and good quality concentrate feed. And we can go with certain supplement like bypass fat, mineral, yeast. If we are able to add all these things, then only we are able to achieve a high milk production, and meanwhile we are able to prevent the excessive loss of body weight during this period. Actually, the feed intake of the dairy animal is very low during this period, and inadequate or lower than whatever but is the demand. Actually, the milk production is high during this period, but the feed intake is very much less. If we are unable to maintain the feed of the animal in this period, then animal can go to the negative energy balance. If animal goes to the negative energy balance or poor feeding follow in early lactation period, then definitely there is a low lactation yield, poor condition of the animal, there is excessive body loss or body condition score of the animal is very much poor, and poor fertility of the animal. So we have to cautious about the feeding of dairy animal during early lactation phase to exploit the maximum genetic potential of the dairy animal and achieve maximum profit. Now you can see here that during this early lactation phase or in a period of 3 months after calving, the milk yield is going to enhance, but the feed intake is very much less. And how? So there are three potential ways for increasing the dietary energy in high yielding animals, especially in early lactating phase. First is to increase dry matter intake. As the animal can go to the negative energy balance during the early lactation period, as the milk yield is very much high, but the feed intake is much less. So in this period, we can enhance the dry matter intake of the animal by including good quality green fodder, by supplementing some legume as well as non-legume fodder crops. But we can increase at certain extent, at certain percentage, we can increase dry matter intake. Now, another option with us to increase the dietary energy in high yielding animal is to increase the proportion of concentrate mixture in the total ration. But concentrate mixture we can increase up to certain extent. At certain level we can increase. If we are going to increase the concentrate feed more than rough physics, then there is increased cases of lactic acidosis and there is a drop in milk yield. So we can increase the concentrate mixture, but at certain extent we can increase the concentrate feed to increase the dietary energy in high yielding animal. Now another option left with us is to enhance the energy density of the total ration, is to enhance the energy density of total ration. That we can do by supplementing the animal with some dietary fats. If we are going to supplement only the simple fat, but we can't supplement the simple fat more than 5%. If we are going to supplement simple fat more than 5%, then that going to affect the fiber digestion as well as going to affect the microbial function. So simple fat we can supplement to the animal in early lactating phase, but less than 5%. No option left with us is to supplement animal with the bypass fat. So bypass fat we can include in the early lactating phase, and 100 to 200 gram per day bypass fat we can give to the dairy animal in the early lactating phase. So it's helpful in maintaining body condition score of the animal and preventing the body weight loss in the dairy animal, and even the milk fat percentage as milk is going to affect if we are going to supplement animal with the bypass fat. And the bypass fat we can supplement to the animal 30 days before parturition to 90 days after parturition. We can feed the bypass fat to the animal, and surely the bypass going to affect the milk yield as well as the milk composition of the animal in positive way. And here we can see here that simple fat, if we fed the animal simple fat, then there occur rumen fermentation or bihydrogenation of fat, and ultimately the fat which reached to the abomasum is different, or some microbial, the animal got some microbial fat. But if we fed the animal protected as well as bypass fat, then the bypass fat biodegenation is protected in the rumen, and that bypass fat is available in the abomasum for the digestion and absorption as in the monogastric animals. So bypass fat supplementation is a good strategy in early lactation phase to prevent loss of body weight of the animal and to achieve a good positive milk yield as well as to enhance the milk fat in the dairy animal. Now in mid lactation and in the late lactation phase. In the mid lactation phase, the feed intake animal increase gradually, but the main target during the mid lactation phase is to maintain the peak milk production as long as possible. And to maintain peak milk production as long as possible, if we are able to manage this thing, then surely there is going to be profit in dairy farming. How we can maintain this peak milk yield? By proper feeding of the animal with good quality concentrate according to the milk yield of the animal, and also supplementing the animal with the mineral mixture according to the milk yield of the animal. And during the mid lactation phase, the animal going to gain their body weight, but the energy and protein ratio of the diet should be managed in the mid lactation phase. That animal, the diet should not going to make the animal more fatty. Now in late lactation phase, it usually start after 200 days of calving, and during this period the milk yield continue to decline, and animals going to gain weight during this period, and going to replenish the adipose tissue loss during the early lactation phase. And there's an increase in body weight of animal during this phase due to increase in size of the growing fetus. So we have to take care of the nutrition of the animal during this period, as we have to take care of the growing fetus of the animal during this period. So there's a need of proper balance of energy, protein, mineral, vitamin during the all phases of lactation to exploit the genetic potential of an animal, and that is necessary for any profitable dairy farming. Now feeding of dry cow. Now feeding of dry cow is very much important. In the dry period, the mammary gland going through normal process of involution, which ensure maximum number of secretory cells during the early lactation. If the feeding of the animal is not properly managed during the dry period, then the involution process of mammary is not growing smoothly. So the nutrition is very much important. The concentrate feeding is very much important. Good quality fodder is also important during the dry period of the animal. The concentrate feeding need to be increased 2 weeks prior to calving to condition digestive system of the animal. And this should be limited to not more than 1% of body weight. The concentrate feed which we are going to increase 2 weeks prior to calving, that not to be more than 1% of the body weight. As we increase the concentrate feed, means we are conditioning the ruminal microflora for the higher concentrate feed after calving or in early lactation phase. So we have to increase the concentrate feed in the dry period gradually. And also if we increase the concentrate feed during this period, that's going to stimulate the ruminal bacteria as well as the ruminal papilia, and also going to enhance the body store or body reserve for the next lactation. But cow must not be fat during this period, or we have to adjust the diet accordingly, that the cow need not to be fat but healthy. Now feeding of advanced pregnant animal. The feeding, there's a reduction in feed intake of the pregnant animal due to reduced rumen size, because the fetus going to occupy the more space and the rumen size is reduced, so the intake is very much less. So the pregnant animal need to be fed high quality nutritious feed, higher protein, higher energy, mineral, vitamin, and optimal dietary cation anion difference waste. And the concentrate feed need to be included 2 to 3 kg per day for last 60 days before calving. Now about optimal DCAD, this is very much necessary. 3 weeks before parturition, we have to stop supplementing the animal calcium containing supplement. 3 weeks before parturition, and that time we have to supplement the animal with the cation and anionic dietary cation anion difference based diet. These anionic DCAD going to stimulate the thyroid and parathyroid hormone to bear the stress after calving. So we have to stop the calcium source 3 week before parturition, and we switch to the negative dietary cation anion difference diet. And these anionic diets should be included 100 gram per day. 90 to 100 gram we can give this anionic diet to the dairy animal 3 weeks before parturition. Now, in all the production cycle, the energy and protein management is very much necessary. For the energy management, we have to use good quality grains, and we can use bypass fat. And for the protein management, we can use good quality oilseed meal like groundnut or linseed. There are so many soybean meal we can use to the concentrate feed of dairy animal. We can use bypass protein. If these energy and protein are not properly managed in the feed of the animal, then if there is a negative energy balance, if there is a negative energy balance, then there is increased cases of retention of placenta. And also there is a problem of estrus, delayed heat, low conception rate, and repeat breeding. And if the protein level or protein percentage is not up to the mark, then there is increased cases of a prolonged estrus, delayed heat, repeat breeding, and there is a change in uterine pH. If the uterine pH is changed, then there is a poor conception rate. So we have to check the energy and protein protein nutrition of the animal in all phases or all the physiological stages of the dairy animal. Now, different vitamin play different role in the production as well as in the reproduction. The vitamin E is important for the integrity of reproductive tract. It's also important antioxidant and also helpful in embryo development. Vitamin D is important for steroid hormone production, development of reproductive tract, as well as maintenance of pregnancy require vitamin D. And vitamin E is a very much play very important role as an antioxidant and also important for the functional integrity of reproductive tract and organ. And how we can fulfill these vitamins by giving good quality cattle feed or giving good quality leguminous and non-leguminous green fodder, or we can supplement vitamin A, vitamin D, or vitamin E, like vitamin A 44,000 to 1 lakh international unit per day, vitamin D from 12,000 to 25 international unit per day, and vitamin E 1,000 to 5,000 international unit per day. And these vitamins very much important for the reproductive performance of the dairy animal. Now, minerals are playing very much important role for the growth as well as conception or for the optimal reproductive efficiency of the animal require proper mineral nutrition. If there is a deficiency of minerals, then there can be cases of delayed heat, estrus, repeat breeding, low conception rate, and increased cases of retained placenta and matrices. And in the growing animal, if we are unable to supplement the animal, the growth and performance of the animal are also affected. And the lactating animal also, I already discussed that we have to give the lactating animal the mineral mixture according to the milk yield of the animal. If we are not supplementing the animal a proper mineral mixture, then also going to affect the milk yield of the animal as well as going to affect the composition of the milk. Mineral mixture, generally we can give 100 to 200 grams per day, but if area specific mineral mixture are available, then we can go with the area specific mineral mixture. And we can give 100 to 200 per gram per day of area specific mineral mixture. And if there's a availability of chelated mineral mixture, then we can go with the chelated mineral mixture, as these chelated mineral mixture going to enhance the viability of different mineral. When we compare with the normal mineral mixture with the chelated mineral mixture, in the chelated mineral mixture, the viability or the absorption of the mineral is more as comparison to the simple mineral mixture which we fed to the animal. If there is availability of chelated mineral mixture, then we can go with the chelated mineral mixture. Especially for the high aider animal, we can go with that. And maximally mineral mixture contain a macro as well as micro mineral which is required for the different physiological stages of a dairy animal. Now, feeding management for maintaining milk fat and SNF. As we all know that India milk pricing is dependent on milk fat and SNF. First of all, we will discuss what are the reason for low milk fat. If the farmer is getting less milk fat, means he or she is going to get a less price. So profitable dairy farming is not possible. So first of all, I'm going to discuss what are the reasons for low milk fat. Low milk fat can be due to low dietary fat content. If whatever we are offering to the dairy animal, the fat content is not optimal or less, then that also one of the reason for low milk fat. Then excess concentrate and less rough feeding. As excess concentrate and less rough feeding going to affect the volatile fatty acid production, there is low acetate and propionate ratio, and this acetate propionate ratio low means there is a low milk fat. And also if there is an animal under negative energy balance, that is one of the reason for low milk fat. And if the condition, the body condition score of the animal is low, that also one of the reason for low milk fat. And improper human function, especially vitamin B12 deficiency, as the B12 is necessary for propionate metabolism. If there is no proper B12 synthesis, that also going to affect the milk fat production. And also imbalanced ration. If there is no proper protein and energy in the ration, that's also going to affect the milk fat of the animals. Dr. Pragya, I'm audible? Dr. Pragya?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Continue.
Now, reasons for low milk SNF. If the imbalanced ration is responsible for low milk fat as well as low milk SNF. Actually, when we are planning the ration, where we are including concentrate feed, we are including green fodder, we are including dry fodder, then we have to make these ration according to the nutrient requirement of the animal. Every animal at different physiological, they have different requirements for energy, protein, as well as mineral. If the ration formulation is not proper, that also going to affect the milk fat as well, SNF content of the ration. No stress condition, animal is stress, then there is a reduction of feed intake. Stress can be any kind of stress, that can be climatic stress or any stress, transportation stress to the animal. There are so many stress animal that also going to affect the SNF content of the milk of the animal. Negative energy balance as well as negative protein balance, that also going to affect the milk fat as well as SNF content of milk. Now, important feeding strategy to maintain milk fat and SNF. As I already told you people that in India, pricing system depended on milk fat and SNF. And this time, if we are able to guide the farmer, what are the important feeding strategy that they can include in the diet of the animal. So this is one of the way to increase the price or make the farmer happy with the higher price. So first of all, we have to have the animal balanced ration. Balanced ration according to the nutrient need of the animal, according to the physiological stage of the animal. We have to prepare the ration of the animal accordingly. And then good quality compound feed we have to feed the animal. Then if we are able to feed the total mixed ration, that's also one of the way to enhance the milk yield as well as to increase the milk fat and SNF. Then it's a better way of feeding of the dairy animal. Then bypass fat can be included to the dairy animal at 100 to 150 gram per day. Then mineral mixture can be included to 100 to 150 gram per day. But according to the milk yield, we can adjust the mineral mixture supplementation. According to the higher animal, we can supplement them with certain buffer that can be included 40 to 50 gram per day. And most commonly buffer used for the dairy animal is sodium bicarbonate. That's mostly used especially for high elder animal, because for high elder animal we have to use high concentrate diet. And if we are supplementing the animal with a high concentrate diet, then they can be increased cases of acidosis. So generally we are supplementing the buffer sodium bicarbonate, and that's important for the milk fat and as well as SNF of the milk. Then we can supplement live yeast culture, some amino acid as well as vitamin. We can supplement to the animal to maintain their milk fat and SNF according to their genetics or genetic potential. Now, feeding management during to reduce heat stress. Heat stress is one of the factors which is going to reduce the production performance of the animal. So different strategy we can perform during. I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible, madam.
Okay,
Technical team, mute yourself. Technical team, please mute yourself. Just
Okay. Then certain feeding management during heat stress. We have to change feeding time. Feeding should be done in cooler hours. Actually, when animal in under heat stress, then there is a reduction feed intake. So we have to feed the animal in cool hours. So there is a maximum consumption. Maximum consumption means more digestibility and metabolizability of the animal, and also so we are able to meet the production performance of the animal during the heat stress period. And meanwhile, we have to supplement the animal with a good quality concentrate with high energy and protein to and then we have to increase the proportion of green fodder. We can also give animals if silage is available, then we can feed the animal with good quality silage. Chafing is a good option during the heat stress. And then we have to provide the clean drinking water to the animal, as the requirement of water is going to enhance 40% during the heat stress period. Now, certain feed supplement which we can include to reduce heat stress. We can include bypass fat to improve dietary energy density. As I had already discussed, the feed intake is reduced during the heat stress period. So to improve dietary energy density, to meet the production performance of the animal, we can include bypass fat. Then we can increase DCAD, as I discussed with you people. During 3 weeks before parturition, we have to supplement the animal with the anionic dietary cation anion difference based diet. That is different. In a heat stress period, we are going to feed the animal positive dietary cation anion difference based diet. That's a cationic to offset sodium and potassium losses, as there is more potassium loss in sweat and so more sodium losses in urine. If we are able to provide animal cationic diet, then that's going to reduce the heat stress to the dairy animal. Then we have to supplement good quality mineral mixture to the dairy animal. And we can supplement certain vitamin as well as buffer to reduce the heat stress to the dairy animal. Like, so overall, from the feeding of calves to heifer to the pregnant to the lactating animal, we come to know that what is the quantity of concentrate feed which we have to feed to the animal, different type of feed stuff which have to supplement to the animal to manage the production as well as reproductive performance of the dairy animal. So scientific feeding is very much important if we want to optimize the growth as well as the milk productivity of the dairy animal. And also it is helpful in controlling the body condition score, which is a key to successful reproduction as well as for the farm profitability. And also we have to do proper ration balancing, TMR feeding, use of certain strategic feed supplement and integration of green fodder. So all these we are going to include all these these things in feeding of the dairy animal. Then surely the farm is going to be profitable. Thank you so much for listening me patiently. Thank you.
thank you, Dr. Madhu. It's really a very insightful
Thank you, ma'am.
the feeding of these animals, dairy, especially the dairy animals. So now the house is open for discussion. If anybody have any doubt, query, or any feedback,
They can ask.
They can ask, or they can write in the chat box also, because I don't know whether they are able to unmute themselves.
Yes, ma'am. They can ask now. We have turned the microphones on.
Okay, certain questions take with the anionic diet. Actually, anionic diet 3 week I discussed with you people that 3 week before parturition we have to give anionic diet. Anionic diet itself showing that we are using certain anions in that chloride and sulfate ions more in that diet, and commercially these anionic mixture is available, and the level of feeding is 90 to 100 gram per day 3 weeks before parturition. Actually these anionic diet going to stimulate the thyroid as well as parathyroid gland. Actually the stress of calcium screen increase after parturition, so we have to condition the thyroid and parathyroid gland. So we are actually by feeding the anionic diet we are creating the slightly acidic condition, to stimulate the functioning of the thyroid as well as parathyroid gland. So anionic diet is recommended during this period. And then the trade name of bypass fat, I'm not going to tell this thing. There are so many companies which is giving bypass fat you can find from the market. Actually, I'm not going to give emphasis to any company that uses purchase bypass fat from that company, but any renowned company you can take bypass fat supplementation from. There are so many companies with the bypass fat in the market, right? Actually, one question is the role of strawberry. Actually, some have worked on role of strawberry, but I haven't idea this actually about this herb. But I just go through one review paper that is strawberry going to enhance the milk quality as well as going to increase the certain nutraceutical value of the milk and also going to affect the milk yield of the dairy animal. But I haven't idea about this strawberry. Okay, anybody have a question? They can type.
Ma'am, what are the advantages of A2 milk over A1 milk?
Actually, people are saying that indigenous cow better, but scientifically it is not till there is no research undergoing that why A2 is better than A1. As already people have said that in European country, most of the exotic breed, they haven't A2 milk, but in India it is publicized that indigenous milk is better because it contains A2 more than A1. But still it's I can say that more research needed to on this topic, that why this A2 is better than A1. Actually, most of the people are consuming these days are also exotic breeds. So as such, more work need to be on this A1 as well as A2 milk.
Okay, but some people prefer A2 milk.
But on my side, I'm not going to recommend this thing.
See, Dr. Nogel, in this, it is reported from NBGAR itself, National Bureau of Animal Genetic Research at Canal. So they have already told that there is no concept, means proven research for A2 and A1 till now in India. So it is still a Western concept. The scientific people are not going to tell there is a difference between the two. But anyhow, because of the hardy nature and immunity, it is a strategic to sell milk in the name of A2, and indigenous cow is milk is fetching higher prices. So scientists will not tell that this is good or this is not good, because we don't have evidences.
Moreover,
Okay,
it's going
thank
to
you.
suppress our cross-breeding policy. Actually,
yes. No, we have already discussion on this thing with NBGR scientists. And I almost generic name is labeled as anionic mixture, but it's still iron and something like NDRI have their own developed anionic mixture, and other universities also. So, so one can use by the generic name as well as by the trade name as well. Similarly, in the kind of bypass fat also. So, any other question?
Any other questions? I think there are no more questions.
So, ma'am, you can end up the session.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
So you stop recording. So on behalf of the organizing team, I thanks Madhu for sparing her valuable time. Although he was quite worried about the internet connection, but still the lecture went well. So thank you very much.